Welcome everyone to the MMOs.com podcast. This is episode 48 now, and this is Altai, joined by...
Gumble.
Matt.
Aurelia.
And we are one down this week. Remo, Omer, is in the air somewhere over the Atlantic. He is on a transit flight back Man down. So yeah, he'll be gone. He'll be back next week. In the meantime, we'll carry on the torch without him. So... what's up, guys?
In the meantime, we're taking over the entire site for a week, and we're just gonna post nothing but hate for Omer.
We gotta keep the tradition going. Gotta call everyone a loser.
And I am free to drink from the bottle while he's gone.
Wow, so. I didn't know that was not allowed. In the meantime. Well, last week in the weekly raid, as we love to recount, we were talking about Nostalrius, which apparently I've never pronounced correctly, and I guess I don't plan to. And we were just looking for everyone's feelings. It seems most people are in agreement that Blizzard screwed up. Of course, Blizzard was exercising their rights. Just an update, rather than going into the comments, I think we kind of exhausted the discussion, and a lot of the stuff here is repeated, but the petition did do quite well, and Mark Kern, for those of you who know Mark Kern, has claimed he will personally deliver the Change.org petition to bring back vanilla service to Blizzard. As if Mark Kern was needed to bring a Change.org petition in person to Blizzard, which I thought was a funny little tip. Looks like Mark Kern just really wants to put himself in the spotlight there. But, you know, maybe we'll at least get a comment from Blizzard, some type of PR response. But we shall see. So far, it's still radio silence. So, I don't know if anyone has any final thoughts on Nostalrius.
All right, here's my final thought. How do you pronounce it? Does anyone actually know?
That's what I was gonna say.
I don't know. I don't know. I thought I was pronouncing it correctly.
Nostalrius?
People were pretty upset. No, I don't know. It sounds like nostalgia. Isn't it nostalgia combined with?
I never thought of that. You think that's where they got it?
That's what I always thought it was.
Yeah, see, I'm just gonna pronounce it nostalgia from now on.
That's a good idea.
I like that. Maybe that's how it's pronounced.
That's good.
Well, to go along with nostalgia, which is really what this week's weekly raid is about. Back in the day, we didn't have all these fancy smancy party finder systems in place. You had to actually work to get a party for your group to go raid dungeons. So I'm curious how people feel about the implementation of party finder systems, because on the one hand, party finders
totally wrong.
Turn. What rank is wrong? Oh, it is wrong. That's okay. It's okay. It was an original question. The link is wrong. Doesn't matter. It's the way she goes. All right. It's what happens
confused.
when you switch mid-question. That's next week's question now. Anyway, so yeah, the question was changed because, you know, back in the day you weren't able to find parties easily. Now you just click a button and you find a party almost instantly, and it kind of devalues the social experience. You're not forced to interact with people. They kind of are these dynamic NPCs that you just play the game with. At the same time, not everyone can commit an entire Saturday to forming a party to raid Wailing Cavern, so it's a balancing act. So I'm curious how people feel about, you know, this kind of streamlined party system that we see in MMORPGs.
All right.
Any thoughts?
Well,
okay.
See, I hate talking to random people on MMOs because they're almost always hostile about everything. But I also hate when people don't talk when you get in a party finder thing. Like, you could be partied with anyone, and this guy could just sit there and, like, do basically nothing the whole time because what do they have to lose letting you carry them, basically? So it's like, I don't know, it goes back and forth. I think that by not having a party finder system and having to talk to people, you have to actively find people that actually want to do the content, which is, you know, a positive thing. But also, like you said, it takes way too much time, and like that's assuming that you can find these people in the first place.
Right.
Because a lot of games didn't have world chat or anything like that back when party finders weren't a big thing. So they also didn't have an easy way to find the people.
Do you remember forming parties too? And you would have 4 people, or say you had 3 people, and one guy would just dip because he found another party that was 4 out of 5 to go raid, and now you're stuck trying to form a party all over again.
Oh, man.
No,
that happens all the time.
See, my best memory of like finding parties was at the end of the WoW open beta, I was in Barrens with my Tauren, and I joined a raid group, and we were going to do something, right? So there were like just like 5 under what we needed the whole time. We ran around for 2 hours, the entire group, like a stampede running around. Didn't find enough people the entire time. 2 hours.
All right, so that's a good segue to my opinion on this matter. I think all right, for like the 4 or 5 man group, like the regular dungeons, I think they're bad. They destroy not just social aspects, which I don't think is that big a deal, because you still kind of can talk to them once you're with them. But they destroy the sense of immersion in the world, because they kind of fragment the world. It makes you kind of feel like you're playing a game like Vindictus Instance instead of one persistent world. But I'm not against raid finders for like 40, 50 people, because to bring it back to role-playing, if I'm going on an adventure with like a few friends, I have to go to the tavern and make those friends, right? But if I'm enlisting for some huge campaign with the king to go like overseas and fight with like 1,000 people, then I'm just kind of putting my name on a list. So that's okay.
Oh man, some next level reasoning right here.
All right.
Roleplay.
The one thing though is, wouldn't you just join a guild to do those 50-person raids? Isn't that the? See, I was thinking of it the opposite way.
Really?
Where you would socialize and join a guild to do those larger raids, and you would use Party Finder for the smaller content. Because keep like the 5-person stuff is like you do it a couple times and then you're out, you're done, and you don't want to try and find a party because it's it's going to be level based. There's a small selection of people that are going to want to do that. Like say it's like a level 20 dungeon. How many people are staying level 20? It's unlike an endgame raid where that's where people stop. Everybody's at that max level. And people that play games and are level, I mean, at least me, I'm not a social person. I'm totally antisocial. I play passively. I watch Peep Show on my second monitor while playing. I don't want to have to commit energy.
Okay, then here's a question, guys, kind of related to this. How easily do you commit to a guild today versus, like, let's say when you were younger? Because for me, I feel like before I was, like, just in and out of guild. I had no loyalty. I had no, like... I had no problem using a guild and dipping. But now, like, now that I'm... Maybe I don't know if I'm older or something. I don't know what the deal is. But, like, I feel like if I get a random invite to a guild, I'll refuse it unless I'm willing to, like, somewhat commit.
Well, see, it's tough for me because, like, I don't like random invites because almost always you end up with, like, a dickhead leading the guild that's, like, just wants to use you for his own personal gain, almost always. But, like, I don't jump in and out of guilds either, so, like, based on my experience playing Link Realms, I now find guilds based on having talked to the person that is inviting me and actually getting to know them a little bit more first. Like, I don't like when it's just like, hey, you want to join my guild? Because it could be anybody, you could be stuck with these people for however long, and, like, I don't know, I'd rather I be stuck with people I'm actually going to enjoy playing the game with, because that's the whole point of playing games, is to enjoy them. So you don't want to sit there with people that stress you the fuck out.
And that's my point. I feel like a guild is a big commit, right? But if I just want to raid, if I just want to do like a Fragfest raid with like 30 people, I don't mind like a raid finder for that. But a party is like, I feel like a smaller... I think anybody can find a party, a 4 or 5 man party in a capital city. I don't think we need to coddle people that much where, like, it teleports them right outside the little 4-man dungeon.
Yeah, but it breaks people the flow.
What
you want to just grind, right? You're grinding. You just want to grind.
No,
right? You don't want to stop the leveling and the grinding.
Then just
you want to keep going. You want to keep slaying mobs. Yeah,
go play Maple Story. If you want to play like this big immersive MMORPG world, too bad. Run a little. All right, and that's my last word on that.
All right, fair enough. I actually I do like it because it actually, in a sense, it creates the opportunity for more interaction. I just think that players are so antisocial to begin with, or just don't care to commit because you're already playing with your friends and you're just running this dungeon, or maybe you're only going to care. Like, I think the personality it takes to actually form a relationship with someone online you play with once in a party, it's energy that's not worth spending.
Actually,
for most people.
I've said it once, and I'll probably say it again.
Go ahead.
I don't think a lot of people that play MMOs get the point of MMOs.
Yep.
Like, I don't think they get it at all.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and what's the point? You want to just go ahead and say the point real quick?
The point is to be in a world with a bunch of other people that you interact with, maybe once, maybe a bunch of times, but there are a bunch of other people and you have to interact with them. And you don't interact with them in the same way you do in like a first-person shooter where you jump in and you talk on voice chat and you yell at them for a little bit and kill the other team. You actually have to interact with people in MMOs, like talk to them and play stuff with them and coordinate where you're going next. And it's just like... I don't think a lot of people want that experience, but they're not really willing to admit it. They just want the gameplay of that game without the rest of the experience, which is a little bit weird to me.
Do you know what MMO interaction really comes down to these days? It comes down to you get the best gear, and you sit in town, and you pose, and you show your shit off to everyone. That's as much interaction as you want. You just want to be the coolest guy in the server. That's it. And you don't want to talk to the plebs that don't have the same gear as you.
Guys, so like I think that it's kind of different nowadays. Maybe it's because we've been playing MMOs for such a long time. I mean, how long have you guys been playing MMOs?
I guess since a long time.
I want to say I started when I was 10, which is about 13 years ago.
So when you were around like that age, right? This is when MMOs were still pretty young, right? It wasn't like now, where you have this huge pool of MMOs to shop for. Back then, there was only a couple games, and people didn't know each other back then. But now that we're in the current age where there's so many MMOs, and you've been through that experience before, like us specifically, as people who have been playing for a long time, we have our friend groups already, right? So we go into these games already with a friend group, whereas like before. I remember when I went into a game, I didn't really know anybody in the game. So, you invest a lot of time in building those relationships, like talking to people. Now it's like, I got my friend, we're like on Skype, fuck all these other people. Right?
It was also novel, right? So you weren't used to that in normal games on your console, on your PlayStation and N64. It was like a novel experience to spam chat and be like,
I mean, there was no voice comm as well, right?
No.
I mean, it was rare to have it.
That's true.
Some people had it, but it was a big deal to have like, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, people would be like, our guild has voice comm, like we paid for it.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays it's like anyone can make a Discord, use Skype, and once you have that established group of friends, you go into a game already on Skype.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how many times? I mean, you're talking about like you join with people and they don't talk to you. It's like, what do you think are the odds that they're in some other TeamSpeak talking to other people?
That's a good
point.
point.
While they're playing with you, and you are also on Skype talking to your friend who you partied with. So who the fuck wants to type and talk to other people when they don't have to, when they already have their friends?
Yeah, that's a good point. People probably just use like these party finders to fill one or two gaps. Like they probably are on Skype with like their tank friend or their DPS friend, and let's say they need a healer. They'll just kind of jump in together to the raid finder or whatever and just fill up the gaps and then just go.
Yeah.
And never talk.
I mean, I agree that it's kind of bad. I mean,
the best thing about that though is that when the one person that they've gotten out of the raid finder doesn't do what they want because they're not communicating with them, they yell about it. It's like, what?
I mean, it happens a lot. I mean, I know it happens to us too, right? Like, we get mad when they do something, but it's like they have no idea, like.
No, I'm rational enough that I realize that if I have a well-oiled four-man team, right, and I bring one more person into it for a dungeon, I can't expect this person to know what they're doing. They're not in my voice chat, or they're not in my whatever we're doing. But I realize that, and I'm like, okay, we did poorly because they're not coordinating with us. They don't know how we work, what our strategies are.
So the bottom line is, pro tip: how to spot a MMO virgin is they're talking a lot.
Like, wow, this is so new to me. Wow, we're in a world together.
Hey guys, what's up? What's up, guys? Oh man, look at this dungeon. All right, I will be healing you guys today. All right.
Yeah, I know everyone hates it, but I really do think in-game VoIP needs to come standard in basically every game now.
Yep, I agree with that.
And, why would you do that when you have a service like Discord where you're uniting people that are all in the same game?
Because when you have in-game VoIP, when you party with randoms, the randoms can then talk to you over voice chat.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Okay. So we have another situation where like you play Counter. So Counter-Strike has in-game VoIP, right? There's a lot of times where like we four-man stack, like, or something. We play with a lot of people in Counter-Strike, and then there's like that one random guy, you don't talk to him, like it's just quiet, right? And then when he fucks up, you're like, "Fuck you, man! Like, what the fuck is your problem?" Right?
Okay.
That's what you press the button for. You're like, "Fuck this," fuck you, and then your entire team is like, "What the fuck was that, man? Like really? Like why didn't you call that shit?" And it's like you haven't been talking the entire time to him, right?
Okay, so
Sure, it does happen.
that's what people use it for, of course, but like it's not a matter of like the worst case scenario, it's a matter of like the best case scenario. In the best case scenario, you can still talk to these guys, and it gives you a way to talk to them without going, okay, we're starting a 5-minute raid, or a 5-minute dungeon, you should spend the next 10 minutes setting up your TeamSpeak and getting on it with us so that we can talk with you even though we're going to be gone in 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
That's what Discord links are for, right?
I do think, okay, I know I said final word on the party thing, but one more thing. I actually read your post now, Sean. And I think Guild Wars 2 with the automatic party thing, and I know Rift does this as well, and probably Final Fantasy with the like map events. I'm not sure though. But so I do think if there's going to be a guild finder, raid finder, group finder, it should be kind of invisible to the player, in the same sense as like Guild Wars does it.
Yeah, I like the way Guild Wars 2 does it, but that's not really about raids and dungeons. That's about zone events, or zone quests.
Well, what is a dungeon but a zone event?
Well, dungeons exist independently. Dungeons are zones in themselves. So
well,
I don't know if that's a fair comparison.
Imagine Guild Wars or Rift. I don't know if you played it, but let's say you do like a map event, right? I mean, there's like 20 guys, random guys in a random public group now. And you go, if anyone who's near when you kill that crystal, without even knowing it, let's say they get teleported to an instance of that exact same map where there's like a whole like boss, mob, boss, mob, boss event, and they don't even know it. So that, it's up to the developers to kind of create these systems and get people playing together without us noticing. It's not all on us. Like, I know we're yelling at each other for saying, "Oh, we're not being social," but it's up to the game developers to use today's technology, whether it's VoIP or whatever, to force us to be social. That's their job, and that's it.
I think that's fair. I think that's a good endpoint, unless anyone else has anything on.
No,
we get to the real big controversy here of the week, or one of the controversies. Not Ghost in the Shell, but not there yet. Everyone's favorite company. The games that people want to play. Aeria Games will be publishing Bless in the West, which is a nice little rhyme there.
Aren't we blessed?
Are we blessed? We're not blessed yet, but we will be soon, probably in the latter half of the summer. Bless is a Korean MMO where two factions are at war with each other. Yeah, you can see here in the video. Classic MMO premise. It's supposed to be heavily narrative-driven. It entered Korean open beta back on January 27th. And because the publisher's Aeria Games, plenty of people have been pretty upset. Aeria Games is responsible for Aura Kingdom. What else are they for? They're actually responsible for a lot. S4 League, Any Eternal, Echo of Soul.
Atrocities against mankind.
Atrocities against mankind. I see Shu is already passionate. Interestingly enough, somebody on Reddit, which we have here in the post, claims that they worked at Aeria Games and that they did the monetization model for Aura Kingdom, and claims that Aeria is trying their damnedest not to create pay-to-win games. So that a lot of people are afraid after hearing this announcement that Bless Online will be pay-to-win. But apparently, Aeria is trying their best to walk the line. Although, as we've seen with almost every release, walking the line between pay-to-win and fair is nearly impossible. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts. Shu clearly has thoughts about Aeria.
So what was the last Aeria game you played, like, decently? Was it Aura Kingdom or was it Eden Eternal?
It was probably Eden.
Okay.
I stopped after that. For reasons you probably know about.
Actually, talk about that, because Sean just said that guy on Reddit said they're trying to make it not pay to win. Would you say that's accurate?
I'm just being a hater because I got banned. But yeah.
Hate, please get the hate ready. Hate it up.
Well, I mean, I got banned, and it was my fault. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of their monetization system because, well, you guys know me. I kind of spend a lot on games, and
Do you want to explain what their monetization is? Yeah.
oh geez, dude, they have this tiered spender thing that they put on their games.
Ooh.
Have you guys seen that?
No, I haven't. So please.
I've seen it. Do you have a link?
Lord.
I have seen it,
Lord.
but I don't.
Dude, I don't have a link. I'd have to look for it.
I'll look for it. While
Someone
you
can look for it.
You can
Okay,
discuss
okay.
it. Yeah.
So they have this tiered spender thing where it's like, and the thing is I really like cosmetics, right? And what they do is they have like a certain outfit that is like only like, if you spend this amount within this pay period, you can get this like special item. So it's like based on the amount that you spend in the cash shop. And what's even worse is they have other ones that are like, whoever spends the most gets these items. So it's literally like you don't even know if you're gonna get it. It's like you have to outbid like the rest of the community. It's really just a lot of really like targeted money like grabbing. You know, it's intentional, just asshole-ish shit.
Wow.
But is that pay to win if it's just a cosmetic thing?
I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Not really.
Go ahead, Erhan.
I'm looking at the tiered service for Aura Kingdom, not Eden Eternal, but Aura Kingdom. And if you're a tier 10, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the monetary amount this is, 50,000 AP, but you get GM service, whatever that means. It sounds like a Counter-Strike admin, you know, like if you donate.
That's amazing.
So,
You could buy your way into administrating the game. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I don't know what
You
GM
just spawn
service
your own
means.
shit?
I'm not sure if anyone in chat knows what GM service means in when it comes to Aria Games tiers. Please inform me.
okay, so
I'm assuming it means you can call a DM if you have a problem in game or something.
And you can
Isn't that
you can only do that if you pay.
Isn't that what therefore you have a problem?
Hey, a lot of games have that actually.
Really?
What?
If you're not premium, you cannot contact service in game. And you have to do some email shit.
Well, let me just say
Doesn't Guild
something.
Wars do that?
If
Okay,
the game
guys.
is
Doesn't Guild
a
Wars
game
do
like
that?
that, don't play that fucking game.
Oh,
Or not Guild Wars. Not
guys,
Guild Wars.
here's
Some
the
other
thing
game does
though.
it.
Is
Go ahead,
this
Matt.
is this the first like really modern MMO that Aeria has had in a while?
That's a good point. Aria usually publishes shit, so this is actually a pretty big title.
Like, I don't mean like new. I mean like the first like really modern one with like modern graphics and like.
Do you mean
modern
non-Chinese?
gameplay
Yes.
elements.
Yes. Let's be real here. You mean
They're
that's
Taiwanese.
same shit.
I mean, they published Age of Conan. Is that right?
No, they don't. They like co-publish
No,
it.
they-
It doesn't count. Like
Oh, I
No,
see.
they don't even co-publish it. They just have a service for it. Like you know how
affiliate.
the Chinese browser games license out to like R2 games and their portal
Yeah.
and the other one. That's kind of what they have with Age of Conan.
Well, I can say that the last game Aeria Games published was, I believe, Dragonmon Hunter, right? I guess we don't consider that modern. Why? Because it's...
Okay,
No,
here's why.
I mean modern, like kind of. You know how Black Desert is calling itself next gen, even though it's like not really next gen. It's just
Yeah.
catching up with everything else. That's what I meant, like that.
Okay.
All right, just for the record,
Well-
I'm not being racist. People in Taiwan are a different nationality, but ethnically they are Chinese. Okay, so I'm not being racist on that one. Okay, two, I do.
Dude, they get really triggered by that shit, dude.
Well,
But,
if they get triggered, it's their fault. They're Chinese, too, ethnically, not nationally. Like ethnically, they're trying. Too bad. Deal with it. Okay. Anyway.
But yeah.
Okay, fair, moving on.
Okay, but anyways, considering Aeria has mostly been putting out like browser games and the next X Legend game recently, this is a pretty big score for them. I mean, this is huge.
I
But
agree.
What I'm looking at though is Aeria is really bad at post-release support, like in terms of updates. They'll update the cash shop, they'll update all this and that, but the massive content updates do not come often enough. I don't know if they like don't want to pay for them or what. Like I don't know how this works because you'll see in other countries the same games will be getting updated regularly, like maybe monthly, and Aeria will have like once every 3 to 6 months, and I'm just like what?
Hey man, that cash shop is updated like every couple weeks, like every week.
The cash shop is updated.
New
their
tiered spender
priorities
guys.
right.
new tiered spender exclusive outfit for the top 5 spenders. In this.
But
And I mean, looking at Aeria is like one of my like big caution signs when I'm looking at new MMOs is when the front page is covered in news of like cash shop updates, sales, and various spending events. If they don't have any sort of content or like bug fix updates at all on the homepage, that's a big sign I'm not going to play it. And that's what you see on a lot of Aeria games.
I just want cute clothes, man.
I'm gonna defend Aeria here, okay, for a second. They
Go
were one of the first Western companies to bring these Eastern free-to-play games to the West. And the fact that they won the license for a Bless, which is a I don't know if I want to say AAA, but big budget, right, compared to a lot of their more recent games in the past. It kind of shows that they're kind of committed to the free-to-play MMORPG space. Because I kind of felt they were going like the more casual browsery route, so that's a good sign.
Well, I mean, okay, that's a little. I don't know if you guys are gonna get this, but for the longest time,
I am smart. I'll get it.
Just USA, which publishes visual novels.
Wait, Jazz, as in like all the old porn games?
Yeah, they publish visual novels, okay, but they
Is
they
that what
had
we're
like
calling?
6 projects, right? They had like 6 projects that had been going on for like 5 years or so, and they were not finished. So they hadn't put out releases like in a while, like a year or two, and everybody's like, okay, when are these going to come out? But they were committed to it. You know what I mean? So like, Aeria got a big game, so you're saying they're committed to it. What it really might be is they may have just gotten lucky, for all we know.
Lucky? I don't think it's luck. I think the developer is bidding it out to the biggest guy who pays him the most. You know?
The Aeria wants this bad. And
Yeah.
Bless, what's interesting about Bless is a game I thought for sure was going to die when they announced that they were reworking, I think it was like 6 different systems in the game. But apparently they did that pretty quick, so I think that was back in October, and then they put the open beta out in January. So Bless, there's a lot riding on Bless, it seems. There's definitely faith in it, so we shall see how it plays out. And since it has that medieval fantasy aesthetic, I think it should have some pretty widespread appeal here in the West.
Didn't they hire some fancy like composer to make the music?
Hans Zimmer!
Yeah!
Hans Zimmer is doing the free
Isn't that
music,
crazy?
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy.
Hans freaking Zimmer. I'm actually just Googling that to make sure I'm right. And yes, that's exactly what's happening. Composed by Hans Zimmer. If you don't know who Hans Zimmer is, every time you've heard an epic orchestral soundtrack in a movie, it's probably been Hans Zimmer. Unless you're watching Spider-Man 2, in which case Hans Zimmer really screwed up. But other than that, I mean, that is a big deal. Hans Zimmer doesn't take a cheap paycheck either, and I've never heard of him doing games before, so definitely interesting. He did Batman, by the way.
All right, so once again, not to bash on Taiwan X Legend. You know, Aeria publishes a lot of X Legend games. I like X Legend games, but you can kind of tell they're small budget, like incremental improvements. Whereas Bless, the Korean developer, is going all out with the production value. So that was my point. Once again, I'm not racist. I promise.
Neither am I, which is why I'm going to say this. Hans Zimmer actually did do Fallout 4, which is interesting. So I guess Hans Zimmer does dabble in game music more than I thought, but Bethesda's got money, so I'm not surprised by that one. I guess NeoWiz wants this game to be polished, so we shall see. I'm actually looking forward to Bless for absolutely no reason other than that it looks nice. I have no idea really about. As far as it seems, like on paper, it seems pretty generic. Just the game itself, a bunch of different classes, 2 factions at war. I think the world is going to be more. I'm not sure if it's actually a straight up open world or not.
Yeah, I think it is. I think Bless is straight up open world, and isn't this the one that we could ride dragons? Because that was basically the only reason.
No, that was
sold on
Icarus
it to begin with.
But this
there was another one. Bless, I think.
This does have fancy mounts. I'm not sure about dragons, but it does have a lot of fancy mounts.
Interestingly, it's
Yeah, you
developed
can
in
ride
Unreal
a
Engine.
dragon.
Oh, all right. I'll ride some dragons.
So we have 2 dragon games coming out this year, then, right?
I guess so. If you want to call this a dragon game. I mean, the other one is straight up dragon game,
Yeah.
which is Riders of Icarus or Icarus Online. Why they had to change the name, I don't know why.
Maybe the dragon is just fast travel. Never mind. Damn. They let me down.
But it does have fancy. I think I saw someone riding like a mammoth or something in Bless. So it is still pretty cool, the mount selection.
We shall see how it plays out. I think it also, because it's on Unreal Engine 3, more people should be able to play it than a game like Black Desert, which is pretty demanding to run.
Black Desert is demanding and poorly optimized. I mean,
Well, there you go. Well, we'll see. I imagine Bless will be poorly optimized too, but we
it's
shall
just
see.
in the grand scheme of things, it is very poorly optimized. Black Desert. I mean, very poorly. You shouldn't ever have a time when you stop in place. Everything is invisible, and it slowly loads in like gray buildings, and then the textures like one by one.
Yeah, I that is off-putting. Well, since we're on the hating on game company train here, let's not stop the rail anytime soon. Recently, it was announced that Soulworker, which is a anime-stylized MMO, will be published in North America and Europe by GameForge, another company which, for some reason, really inspires people's ire. It was really announced by going to the GameForge website. They listed, by going to the Soulworker website, which listed GameForge as their business partner for North America and Europe. Right now, Soulworker is in Japan. It could be played with a VPN. I'm pretty excited just because like cel-shaded anime aesthetic going on here.
It does look
I know a lot of
cool,
people have been asking
but
about
I
it.
know literally nothing about this game.
GameForge bought.
Someone talk about GameForge, yeah.
GameForge bought Runes of Magic. That's all I know about them. I don't
Yeah,
know how
free
bad
ball
they
for
are. I've heard they're
Hulkster.
terrible. I think Ion was run by GameForge, and people hated it. That's all I know.
Yeah, for some reason, GameForge, I also don't know much about GameForge, but we have two experts here with us on the panel. I only know that they've done Wizard 101.
No, what?
Really?
No.
Why is
maybe
that
they,
there?
they
Okay.
pu- maybe they published a European
They
version,
do-
but they did not make it or anything.
I see. No,
Yeah,
I know
but-
they didn't make it.
They do a lot of European publishing contracts,
Yeah.
not a lot
Fair.
of North American.
Fair enough.
I mean,
So why do people hate GameForge? Can anyone elaborate here?
I don't know why people hate it any more than any other like for a company trying to make money. You know, I mean, I kind of met some of the guys that worked at GameForge, and the guy who ran Frogster, who was involved with when they got bought out by GameForge, so he kind of ended up working at GameForge. I mean, they seem like nice guys. I mean, they're trying to make money off of free-to-play games, so they're going to be selling you shit, you know? But,
Bias!
I mean, I mean, what do you
You shook his
expect?
hand. You're in their pocket.
I'm not. I mean, they're not paying me. I wish they were, but you know, they're trying to make money off you know, these shitty Korean games or so. Actually, fun fact: Runes of Magic is also Taiwanese.
Multi being racist again.
No, whoa, Runes of Magic was one of my first WoW clones that I played.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had a chance to experience the magic in Runes of Magic.
Okay.
I
just-
played it.
Fortunately.
I played it to about level 20, and then I gave up.
So think WoW with dual classing.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I like that. That sounds nice. That was Guild Wars 1, which I always enjoyed.
And with the shitty models that look like they have really sharp edges that don't
Ooh,
sit
the
right.
best. You use them as weapons. You attack with your characters at sharp edges. So, we know that GameForge purchased the domain. And also, by the way, this is also confirmed because GameForge bought up every domain with Soulworker in it, which you can check by going to a website that's in the link. But anyway, here. Does anyone know anything about Soulworker? Shu? I feel like this is a total Shu game.
Right? It's Japanese. Let's be racist again.
It's Japanese, yeah.
I actually don't know too much about the game. I've only seen the graphics. One interesting thing that I have seen in trailers is they have like it seems to be a very extensive like housing system where there's a lot of interactables in the house. Like you can get like those like a deep bathtub and you can like go inside of it and like play around in there. And
That's weird. Okay.
there's a lot of out of game things you can do, which is kind of promising. But at the same time, like how much are they gonna put in that? I mean, it's a trailer, right? They're supposed to get show off like the best, right? So,
Well, as far as I know, the game is going to function like a co-op instance sprawler, where you pick from 6 classes or 6 characters, and you're just going to run down hallways, killing all the mobs with friends or alone, until you get to the boss, kill the boss, then collect new gear. So it's going to be kind of simple. I think it's really the aesthetic that's going to make it attractive. And if people who liked Rusty Hearts, which I know has kind of like a cult following, or a cult remembrance party, should find something like here because it is definitely similar graphically. I didn't get a chance to play Rusty Hearts. Kind of wish I did once I found out about it. One thing, of course, one thing that's finding its way into every game that we can talk about is that Soulworker will have a card system. For some reason, cards are like the new, it's like a virus, if you want to call it that. It finds its way into every single game, whether now it's Paragon or Paladins or now Soulworker. And I don't understand, because I thought cards used to be just in Ragnarok Online to boost your weapons and shields.
In Ragnarok, they made sense. I am not a fan of cards the way I've seen them implemented recently, especially in Paladins, which we've gone over many times.
But cards are also in Paragon, which I think I'm the only one here who has played.
How is Paragon?
To talk about Paragon real quick, Paragon is any other MOBA with a sci-fi aesthetic and third person. But for the most part, to me, it plays like a top-down MOBA, like a League or a Dota 2. And I mean that on a very general level.
So it's like Smite. So it's like Smite.
I didn't play Smite, so I'm not sure. But the one thing that struck me about Paragon is that you're in third person, and I guess I'm used to playing at a faster pace. But because it's a MOBA, it's a much slower paced game. Like just movement speed wise, and the way that conflicts between you and other players come about. You know, as your minions spawn, you kill each other's minions, gain experience, kill junglers. So to me, that was off-putting, kind of like how when we played BattleBorn, we're playing an FPS, and we're trying to play it like an FPS, but it's really more of a MOBA. So it seems like changing the camera angle is kind of disorienting after playing these top-down MOBAs for the last, 10 years, if not more. So
yeah, you're describing Smite, yeah.
All right, so then it's the same thing as Smite.
So you've played both. I think you're the only one here who's played both BattleBorn, which we did for Sunday FunDay, guys. Check it out on YouTube. And Paragon. So how would you compare those two?
Yes.
Self-promotion.
Battleborn I can appreciate more because it's at least trying to do something different.
Okay.
But Paragon is playing it safe by regurgitating the same formula. Battleborn to me was too chaotic. It's too much. Maybe I feel epilepsy coming on, but I could appreciate that Battleborn at least changed the formula a bit, but like the way how each match kind of has a different objective, and you have to either kill the other ended player's robot or feed minions to that weird tiki torch thing. Whereas in Paragon, it's just get your minions down the lanes, kill enemy heroes, upgrade, kill the other team's base. And that's fine. Can you actually dodge attacks? Yeah, everything. That's the other thing about Paragon is in Paragon, right? You have a crosshair just like in Battleborn, and you need to actually aim your attacks. But the thing is, it's so easy because everything kind of has a wide spread, and your abilities kind of have a wide spread that it's not like Counter-Strike where it's like precision aiming. It's not Twitch-based combat. It's just line it up and click. That's also because everything's slower paced. Whereas Battleborn, you had to know what you were doing with your skills and your attacks to actually get a kill or engage.
So here's a question.
Yeah, I really had to aim in Battleborn, with my character at least.
Okay, here's a quick question, Gumby.
You were playing a sniper. I want to say duh, but
yeah, but I'm saying like it doesn't auto target for you. The attacks aren't spread in Battleborn. You actually have to hit people or you do no damage.
Guys, quick question for Sean. Okay, when you were playing Paragon, I know I said this multiple times, so if you guys are regular listeners, you're going to be tired of this, but when you were playing Paragon, did you ever get the impression of, hey guys, look what you can do with this engine, rather than like I'm playing a unique game? Because
I think I said this, and I'm still confident that Paragon is to an extent showing off the Unreal Engine. I think you nailed that, but I don't think it's not just purely that, which is why they played it safe. Because they played it safe because people are going to play this game, but yeah, it's showing off what Unreal can do, and it looks gorgeous. Right. Paragon though also has this like gritty atmosphere. It's more of I don't want to say realistic, but it certainly feels more realistic than a game like Battleborn, which is like this cel-shaded, fun, vibrant kind of playful game.
Like when I was playing Battleborn,
Paragon is showing off what Unreal can do.
Alright, so does Paragon have stuff like this? Let me explain. When we played Battleborn, right, and we were kind of like in that hub room after the game started for like a few seconds, and remember on the screens there was like a little tutorial where it's like, go here, do like those kind of cute like world building. Did Paragon have that stuff, or was it just like ready to fight?
Paragon is more about showing off through its flashy effects and skills, and through the world itself.
Like even like the
Like, just looking
DNA
at the-
thing. Like when you level up in BattleBorn, there's like a DNA helixy thing, and you gotta pick left or right for the skills. Like I like touches, like I like things like that. It kind of shows the game
I
has
really
soul.
didn't notice. I didn't shave, no space pirate. No, I really didn't notice anything subtle that was kind of special or trying to like make it feel cutesy. It just kind of felt like a straight up, this is the game, go ahead and play it. It was more about showing off in the environmental details itself, rather than doing something cutesy like BattleBorn. Again, BattleBorn has the Borderlands 2 charm to it, something Paragon can't have because it's not made by 2K. So I think that doesn't come from the engine, that comes from the developers themselves having kind of like a quirky approach to the way they present elements. Whereas Paragon is like, here's a game, go ahead and play it.
I've probably said this before, but I think the only reason that you think that Paragon looks like a tech demo is because of the way the graphics and the lighting look. It doesn't have anything to do with the game itself. It's just that, like, when you look at all the Unreal tech demos, and especially like the ones where they're showing off how much grass you can place in the Unreal Engine 4, it looks that same kind of graphical quality as their tech demos did, and I think that's where you're getting that from.
Well, exactly. It kind of feels.
I'm not saying
It feels like they
it's not
dragged
like
and
there's
dropped.
in a game though.
I mean, fine.
But that doesn't mean that there's not a game that they're making. It's not. It doesn't mean that it's a tech demo. It just means they're using their signature Unreal Engine 4 style.
It feels like they're using like default assets. You know what it feels like? It feels like a StarCraft or Warcraft custom game, but within like the Unreal game.
Okay, I can assure you they're not using default assets.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can
I just agree
assure
with you on
that.
that one, Aaron. I mean, they made a game. It's just that they played it safe, which is why I think by playing it safe proves that it was more about pushing the engine to what it can do than it was about just making a straight up tech demo. It's a balance, right? It's not like one way or the other.
I
because-
think the thing is, if they really wanted just a tech demo, they would have finished Unreal Tournament 4 by now.
That's a good point. Where is Unreal Tournament, and why isn't that finished?
Yeah,
Because it's
we
going to be
did-
completely free and it's open source, so they're probably not prioritizing it.
That's true.
Okay, here's
most of the maps didn't have anything in them.
here's the final question about Paragon. Is it worth Sunday
Go ahead.
FunDay? Because we have 5 people. It's a MOBA. I'm guessing the team sizes are 5.
I think if you have to ask if it's worth Sunday Fundaying, it's not worth Sunday Fundaying. I think our Sunday Funday should be, should we do it this week, not is it worth it?
The only
It
way
should
we're
be
playing.
fun. It should be fun. Is that what you're saying?
Sunday FunDay.
I mean, I think.
One qualification. It has to be fun.
All right, look, everyone
Let's
knows.
stop. Okay. Can we agree now, since he's not here? If it has to be fun, we can't let Omer pick anymore.
I feel like Shu generally agrees with Omar's
Oh my
picks,
God.
so we can't let her pick either.
I mean-
do I? I mean, I didn't.
You're a part of the War Mode cartel, okay? I know you.
Oh, I mean, Warmode was fun though.
All
Warmode was
right.
fun.
There it is.
Battleborn PvE was terrible.
Oh yeah.
What else did we do recently? What did we do recently in the last couple?
I
Sunday
wipe my
Funday?
memory clean after every Sunday Funday.
Well,
Recently.
okay.
Or must die unchained.
Okay,
I-
let me put it this way. Omer's pick, Metal Assault. My pick, Battleborn.
Alright.
Metal Assault was terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That's fair. That's good. Good comparison.
Metal Assault was terrible.
I will
Oh
say,
my
if you guys
God.
like MOBAs, you like playing traditional 3-lane tower MOBAs, you'll like Paragon. But I think that's the way to put it. And now, I'm not somebody, if you've watched, I don't like MOBAs that much, because Airhound scarred me. But the point is, other than that, there's really nothing special drawing you into it. It's just, here's a MOBA, it's a little different, enjoy it for what it is. So if you want that, then go ahead and play.
Alright guys,
Omer
I'm
got-
looking for
Omer got
Sunday
plain
Fundays.
Wi-Fi.
I'm doing it. Sunday
Okay, so
Funday.
he did get a, playing with Wi-Fi on it then.
Omar's joining us in chat, guys, for
just
on the
Okay,
airplane.
okay, guys. I'm going through this list. Okay, we have.
It's funny, we were just talking shit too. What's up, Omer? You just joined.
That's karma, dude.
Karma, yeah, it is karma.
See who picked Atlas Reactor. The game was fun.
That was an Omer
Who picked-
pick, I think. No.
Who picked Wildstar?
I think I picked Atlas Reactor. Wildstar. Okay,
Oh,
who
really?
picked? Wildstar was a while ago.
Boring.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Boring. Tribes Ascent, boring.
Tribes Ascent, come on, that wasn't boring. I
Tribes
disagree with that.
Tribes
right
Ascent
there.
is kind
Tribes is a
of.
classic.
It is, but it's kind of dated.
It's dated, yeah.
Terrible. Mental
Needs some of
Assault,
this
terrible.
Speaking of games that many people aren't looking forward to, at least on Reddit, World of Warcraft Legion.
Launch date no, August 30th.
August 30th. Now, I haven't played WoW in quite a while, unless you count Nostalrius, since I can't say it properly.
Nostalgia. We gotta call it nostalgia from now on.
Nostalgius, yeah. Blizzard finally announced the release date, and actually, I did not check this, but I'm going to check it right now. When does the Warcraft movie release? Because I really felt that they were going to... No, the Warcraft movie releases June 10th, so they're not trying to tie them together. But of course...
People are hoping that you can get a free copy of World of Warcraft, like the base game or something, or a month or something, with the Warcraft movie. I've already seen that.
Bullshit. That's not happening. I doubt that. If by base game you mean the free-to-play edition that's already available, then sure. But for those of you who have not been paying attention, Legion does include the Demon Hunter, a new class, and I actually did want to comment on that quickly. It also contains new mounts. The expansion alone will cost $49.99, or you can get the digital deluxe edition for $69.99, an appropriate number, and instantly boost your character to level 100 because grinding's for suckers, and you'll get early access to the Demon Hunter class. Now, real quick, I remember when Burning Crusade came out, I actually skipped school to buy it, and I remember Blizzard announcing they were going to release a new class with every expansion. Well, it looks like it's only taken 8 years to fulfill the dream. Now that we finally have the second class after the Death Knight.
There was a monk. There was a monk.
What else was there?
Monk.
Oh, the monk. I forgot. All right, fair enough. I'm wrong.
Please.
What was the new class in Burning Crusade? What was the new class in Burning
The
Crusade?
Death Knight.
Death Knight, yeah.
No,
that was
Really?
Wrath.
Oh shit.
No, that
okay.
that was definitely Wrath, because that was.
Wow. I'm gonna get called out in the comments now. All right.
Damn, Gumby.
Okay, so here's the funny thing I've noticed about Legion. Leading up to the announcement of when it was going to be released, everybody was like super hyped about this, and it's like, this is going to be what saves WoW. And as soon as it was announced, now everybody's like, oh, fuck this shit.
Now, why is that? Is it because of the features that are included?
No, because we knew about a lot of those beforehand. I just think all of a sudden the zeitgeist has changed, and everybody's like...
Good word.
Zeitgeist. All right, if we were politically minded in this group, MMOs, we would start like a boycott campaign until they bring back a vanilla server.
Against Blizzard?
Against Legion specifically. Like, wow. Like, don't buy Legion.
But none of us are gonna play. I don't think there's a quick question. Is anybody in chat planning on playing Legion? Because I know none of us are. I don't think.
We're not. I'm not.
What do you mean? We are Legion. Come on.
Oh my god. I mean, I know that there are probably about 5.5 million people playing WoW. I just don't know who they are.
No.
I actually only know one person playing WoW.
It was
5.5.
It was 5.5 when they stopped reporting.
Yeah, right.
So it might have fell since then.
Like 5. It can't have fallen that much.
Why not?
I don't think.
It could have.
No, because their major drop already happened, and basically, unless they are free falling, it's not going to have dropped that much. The huge drop off is over. Basically.
I think it's our obligation to misrepresent and assume it's a big drop. Since they start reporting, we have to shame them by over-reporting the drop. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of forces them to start revealing numbers again. What do you think?
I have it.
That's going to backfire.
Sources speculate that Blizzard's numbers are down to 1.2 million.
Yeah, you heard it here first. MMOs.com says Blizzard's numbers are now 1 million active players left.
According to our undisclosed sources.
Until they prove otherwise, that's the official number. So. All right. Actually, guys. All right, Sean, Matt, news people, ready? Someone published that article, a news article, and then forward it to Blizzard. We might be the site that gets them to start revealing their numbers again, if only to disprove our bullshit.
We might get the first site that gets the first media website to get a lawsuit from Blizzard. Maybe we'll get some lawyers send us a French document.
Alternatively, we could then get put in a situation where we have to write an article like Kotaku complaining that we'll never get a review copy again.
Do we ever get a review copy of Legion?
Yeah, we don't get review copies.
Yeah, they did that. They did that. They wrote an article complaining that Bethesda blacklisted them and they didn't get a review copy of Fallout 4, basically.
Wow. With all the money Kotaku doesn't make, I bet that really hurt them.
Yeah, I never.
That really hurt them.
I never got that point. I feel like if you're a site, like even MMOs.com guys, like we're not big, right? But like we can afford to buy a copy of a game, like $50. Like wow. If you have to complain about not getting free games, that's kind of sad. I don't know what to say.
It kind of. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I'll just say it. Kotaku, you looked like a bitch.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it comes down to if you're gonna write some clickbait bullshit like that. So enjoy.
They wrapped it in. They wrapped it in. This is the hard life of a gaming journalist.
Shut the fuck up! And you're not a journalist.
Guys, we gotta say straight up, by the way, that anytime we bitch about not having games, we're just joking, okay?
Yeah.
The Tree of Life thing, right? We were just joking, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We didn't want your Tree of Life anyway.
Actually, shout out to Black Desert Online. They actually did give us free copies, which was awesome. So thank you. And
I mean, it's nice when they give us free copies, but they're not obligated to do it.
Yeah.
But
I didn't get a free copy. I paid
hold
for
on.
mine.
Tom, where's my $1,000 for the review? I need that money.
I like what Elmer said before. He's like, yeah, they gave me money for the review, and I still say their game is shit.
I feel like if a review copy alone is enough to buy you, your real voice is probably not that worth that much.
Yeah, your value.
You're like a $1 hoe. You're like a $1 hoe.
It's like
$1 sucky.
Okay, it's like that thing with Shadow of Mordor. The controversy with that was they were giving review copies only to people that would promise and I think sign something saying they were going to only give a positive review of it.
Sign something.
What? Is this real?
Yeah, that's real. They only gave review copies, pre-release review copies, to people that were going to give it a positive review.
I mean, we could have just said we're going to give them a positive review.
That was Shadow of Mordor.
Totally
It's a single-player game. But, yeah, I think they had to sign something saying that they were going to.
That's nasty, dude. That's fucking nasty.
Well, I'm glad this discussion took us here. We take checks made out to MMOs.com team. We do each need our own when we do reviews, even when only one person writes it. And our minimum is $1,000. So.
Wow, you're setting the bar low.
Yeah, setting the bar a little low, but we're still young.
If anybody wants anything reviewed on our site, it doesn't have to be games. It could be a book, maybe like a restaurant. We'll put anything on our site for $1,000.
The MMO site, the MMO's restaurant. Come on down to Bill's Barbecue.
like the new Big Mac with the new sauce. It's really great. It's a perfect diet for while you're playing.
I want to see a Gumby review.
I'll do a grumble of anything. Well, speaking of paying for reviews, we should probably go to the greatest country in the world right now, to China, who recently expanded a contract for Dungeons and Fighters, or as it's known as Dungeon Fighter Online.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a 10-year contract to keep publishing the game, which is pretty impressive. It just shows you the popularity of Dungeon and Fighter, which is really awkward to say, over in China. The game is still pretty popular here too, I believe. I know a few people play it, but I don't think it ever caught on as well. But it is one of the highest grossing games in the world in terms of revenue. It's
popular in Korea and a freaking hit, super hit in China. Here, it's not so big. The developer has to publish it itself because Nixon dropped it. So it's not big here, but it does have a small but dedicated following here.
I never had a chance to play Dungeon Fighter Online, but I always liked it at a distance, for its 2D art style.
I think the best way I can put it is unless you are really, really a huge fan of Streets of Rage and games like that, it is fun for about 5 hours, and then it gets repetitive and boring.
Oh.
You know what it reminds me of?
Well, I know somebody... Go ahead.
Actually, not reminds me of, but when I saw the news headline where Tencent renewed it for 10 years, it looks like a 20-year-old game. So I can only imagine how dated...
Well, it's supposed to.
Well, I know, but like
It does.
I can only imagine what it's gonna look like 10 years from now.
It's
It's gonna look
supposed
exactly
to
like
look
it looks
like,
today.
I mean,
It's gonna look the same.
compare to what's available in 10 years, obviously.
They're gonna add a VR support for Dungeon and Fighter. That's exactly what's gonna happen. And you'll look around you, and the whole thing will warp around you. So everywhere you look, you can see your character. Yeah, I guess this is really popular because in China, you don't have the same level of adoption of tech. So you have lower spec computers. So I mean, what else are you gonna play? You're gonna play older games than Dungeon and Fighter. And it's just one that'll run on everything. I imagine, at least.
I feel like Chinese people have more patience for grinding too. Because if you play Dungeon Fighter Online, I actually like the concept. I like the graphic style, so I played it. But it makes you play the same like levels over and over again for like the first 10 hours. Like you see the same like 4 mobs for like 10 hours.
Yeah, it gets really, really repetitive, and it's like the level design isn't great, and every room feels super generic.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what drove me out of it.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I find interesting when you say that is, if we go back 10 years, I think the Western audience was more. They were more willing to grind like that too. I grinded in MapleStory back when it first came out, like over and over and over again, and same with Ragnarok.
This is different. Okay, so when you're grinding in an open field, you're just killing whatever mobs spawn. But in Dungeon Fighter, you basically grind dungeons. So you go through the whole dungeon, you quit out. You go through the whole dungeon, you quit out.
But
it's
I did that in WoW. I used to dungeon grind in WoW to get max level. And I mean, I don't know if it's just because.
But you're going through
the MMO is so young.
Okay, but like it's
you don't see other people
boss
too.
Dungeons. It's not like boss dungeons. It's just super generic. This is all of the content type dungeons. Like you go through a dungeon that's made just so you can beat some things up, get some items, and get out. I mean, it's not like a super impressive, finely tuned boss raid dungeon. You know what I mean? It's like you see the same environment as you walk through a set of like 10 rooms, beat up some random mobs that they have in this zone. You quit out, you do it all over again.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I mean, obviously, in the end, they're just pixels on a screen, right? But to get technical, but when I'm grinding an MMO RPG, I feel like it's kind of my choice to grind at that field, at that time, in that place, right? But with Dungeon Fighter Online, I'm running the same level in a loop over and over again. So I feel like I'm being forced to, even though in both cases I'm kind of forced to, right? But it's just kind of mental gymnastics, I guess.
I think it's kind of like you can't like just kill a few things and get out of the dungeon. You have to finish the dungeon.
Yeah.
And the way they structure quests, it makes it worse because like you go through half of the dungeon, you finished your quest already. Sometimes you go into the first room and you finish the quest you're working on, and then you have to go through the rest of the dungeon to finish it, like to go back and turn it in.
Yeah, it's the game I wanted to like, Dungeon Fighter Online, and I have friends who play it still, like for years. But it's one of those games where you have to play for 20 hours to get out of like the first like basic. Also, there's no challenge, at least at the beginning. So like I feel like I have to kill orcs for like 20 hours before I can start like exploring the actual game. So I gave up.
That's always fun. That shows the dedication of the grind. All right, it shows your patience, and it also indicates how much you want to escape everything going on around you. When you're grinding the same mobs over and over again, and you can't play anything else. That's why I think it's popular in China. Come home from from Guangdong. I'm going to stop this before I go too far. Anyway, speaking of old school dungeon grinds, RF Online 2 has been trademarked by... Who's trademarking this?
The original developers, CCR.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, CCR has trademarked RF Online 2. If you don't know RF Online, it was launched in 2006 as a pay-to-play title. It was a bit of a sci-fi MMORPG. Robots, gotta love robots. Where there are 3 factions at war. So they really upped the ante back then in 2006. It's going from 2 to 3.
Whoa.
We're used to the 2 faction war.
They acted that way sooner, I think. But anyway, go on.
So I thought this is interesting. The only thing we know about it is that it has been filed. There's been no information at all I think it's interesting. RF Online does have a dedicated following, and I'm not sure why. I guess it's dedicated enough to reach back to the IP and try and make a sequel instead of making a new game altogether. So I thought I never actually played RF Online.
I played it.
Unfortunately, I was too busy playing WoW.
It was the
Did you enjoy it?
No, but it was one of the first. It was one of the first free to play when it went free to play sci-fi games, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure why exactly. Of the hundreds of free to play games, it's in a minority where there's an active private server scene. So there are people who play this game on like high rate servers and just see. I don't know why they play it. To me, it was kind of generic, but it does have an appeal. And I guess if it was when you were small and young and poor and you couldn't play a real game, if this was your first sci-fi game, I'm sure there's some kind of connection you have with it. So it's kind of cool they're making a sequel finally, or planning to make one.
Small and young and poor. Small and young and poor is not a good descriptor because it was pay to play for 2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
Box fee. I had it.
Oh, you did?
I had the box.
Were you small, young, and poor when you played it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was small, young, and poor was not like.
I played RF Online with my mom, actually.
Really? With your mom?
Yeah, I did.
What?
Yeah, with my mom. We played together.
Wow. When? What years?
When the game came out, once the game came out.
Okay. How old were you?
The first release.
Okay, so it was a while ago,
Pay to
right?
play one.
So what did you?
Long time ago, yeah.
At that time, what attracted you to the game versus other games? Let's say.
It was a new game. It's not like it wasn't like nowadays where it's like there's a new game every week.
That's true.
And there's like a million games to choose from. It was like a new game, and that was a big deal back then. And,
Okay.
We just played together. I did some of the PvP. It takes place. I mean, from what I remember, granted this is a long time ago. It was in this underground earthen type of area, and then you just kind of fought people. And we ganked a couple people, and you spammed the hell out of potions in that game. You buy a huge stack, and you just keep pressing it.
I'm going to maintain my
for me
small, young, and poor. By the way, I'm sticking by that point. But go on.
For me, it was mechs.
Mechs.
It had mechs.
Yeah, I had mechs. Yeah, it was kind of neat.
There it is.
I love
RF
it.
Online.
I always played games. That's why I loved X Steel, which is a classic, which really deserves to be revived. And for some reason, no one's talking about it. But when we become MMO necromancers, that's on the top of the list. X Steel.
Who's hosting RF now officially? Is it Red Fox or whatever?
Red Fox?
Yeah,
Red Fox. Yeah.
And you know what is cool? Is just looking at the website and looking at the list of updates, is they have been very active in communicating with the community.
For now.
And with updating. Oh, yeah, for now. But still, the game came out 10 years ago. And unlike games that just came out, like Thanatos, you see a lot of communication from the team over there. So that's always good. It just shows that they care about their product and are willing to keep it going. So no wonder, after I look at this website now and I see the list of updates, it doesn't surprise me that RF Online 2 was filed for it. And again, that doesn't mean it's happening, right? They're just filing for it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, but I was going to follow up with saying that I played it for mechs was not really a good indicator of how good it was or not, because I also tried Age of Armor solely because it was for mechs, and that was not a good game.
I remember Age of Armor. I played that too. That was awful.
I got stuck in a building because the translations were so bad I couldn't figure out how to get out.
Yeah, I took 50
I couldn't
screenshots.
find the button to let me get out.
I took screenshots for that game, right? For Emo Hut. And I remember all my screenshots were before I left the tutorial, because I just couldn't leave the base you started. It was
I think I may have actually had better luck getting out of the building in the Chinese version than I would have in the English one. The translations were that bad.
Ouch. Well, speaking of games that are incomplete, based on their translations or otherwise, we have a new survival MMO just releasing into early access. And I figure we should talk a bit about survival MMOs, because for games where you die all the time, the genre just seems to not want to die. And as someone who loves survival games, I kind of want it to. The survival game, but this one's a bit interesting. This is the Black Death. It released today.
To mixed reviews.
And to mixed reviews it has, which is normal for any early access title. What's supposed to be interesting and unique about this one is it's set during a plague in medieval Europe. An 8 kilometers squared of environment, which is kind of small relative to other games. But in the game, you choose a profession, whether it's a blacksmith or filthy peasant. collect resources, join towns, and survive the plague. And what I thought was interesting is I can't tell, and they don't say it in any of the synopsis, but it looks like there are zombies, and maybe they're not calling them zombies, but plague-infected victims. And so I'm really not sure how that plays out. I really hope they're not zombies. That'll kind of piss me off. But what is supposed to be interesting is it has an active combat system, which claims to be more like Mount and Blade, with active swings and parries. And I'm curious to see how that plays out, and if it's similar to something like Chivalry, or as it touts, Mount and Blade.
Okay, I've tried playing Mount and Blade again after playing it a lot online, and I'm going to use my favorite word again, as Sean likes to put it. Mount and Blade is super janky now. It is hard to use. Jank. Oh my god, it is so inconsistent, it feels like a lot of times, because the actual animations are awkward and just weird now to me. Anyways, whenever I hear Mount and Blade combat, though, it's never going to be as good as Mount and Blade, so I hear we're going to make action combat that is super inaccurate and difficult to use.
That may be the case. I haven't played the game yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's how it ends up.
It's like, have any of you guys played Exile?
Nope.
Nope.
The weird ass post-apocalyptic one with the like kind of
the cheesy
Native
pyramid
American inspired thing.
Yeah.
The weird ass like half ghetto, half Native American outfits. I can't really.
That's quite two halves. That's quite the two halves.
I can't think of a better way to describe it. It's like the vibe they were going for. But anyways, it has Mount and Blade like combat, and it is super awkward, and it's just hard to use, and like I don't know, it's just bad.
Okay.
Well, hopefully that's not what the Black Death is like.
I will say,
we shall find out.
You said the 8 kilometer square was a small map. I feel like
relative to what other games,
to other survival whatever. I would think that's a plus, because one of my biggest gripes with this genre is they're too big. The worlds are too big. Like I want, maybe I'm lazy, or maybe I'm like I have a short attention
well, that's
span.
definitely true.
My attention span is narrow.
Go on, go on.
I want to see people right away, you know, to make friends with or fight with, whatever. But some of these games I can't stand because of how wide the maps are, and I have to memorize. Like also like games like Rust or DayZ. So only a small percent of the map is actually useful, right? So much of it is just ignored, or you have to learn to skip or get to the good point. So I don't like that.
At least. DayZ, the way it's set up in the standalone, is that way. I mean, the MOB is different, but I see what you're getting at. No, I guess the idea is the whole map should be viable if that's what you're going to do, and you need enough players to fill the map. And the problem with big territory is as your game declines from the initial launch, as it inevitably does, if it's too big, the rest of the territory becomes useless later on. Mm-hmm. So you really need to be able to maintain that player base. So you kind of take a risk, depending on how big the map is.
I mean, I think that's kind of why games like DayZ and Ark split in two, because some people just like me realized they were too big.
It's H1Z1, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I meant, H1Z1. But I think if the maps were smaller to begin with, I think one game could cater to both people, like the builders and explorers, and people like me that just want to shoot people and be done. So hopefully one game gets the map size right to pull that off.
Well, this one does look interesting too because it has pre-established villages and communities, and it does, of course, proclaim quite a bit. It kind of and actively taking part in player trade and whatnot, as they all do. I'll probably check this out, maybe stream it or make a review.
Yeah,
as I am addicted to survival games.
You are the survival guy.
And I just like the fact that it is trying. It at least went with a different environment. You're not stuck on an island. It's not modern. It's going for the medieval, the low medieval fantasy. So I mean, if there's magic in the game, I might be a little pissed, but
Remo can just tell in the chat that I'm bashing on Rust right now, so he's trying to defend it. So it's amusing.
But you really didn't bash on Rust. You just made one point. And Rust is insanely popular. They can fill their maps easily. Can you guess how many players are still playing Rust? And it's really crazy considering how long it's been out. I love this game.
Okay, let's see.
How many people are playing Rust 30 minutes ago?
10,000?
28K.
Okay, 28K, 10,000. Shu, do you have a number? And don't you dare do what you normally do. I know what Shu's going to do. Go ahead, Shu. Go ahead. Do it. Do the prices right.
Rust. I mean, let's see. We have 10K and 28K. I mean, I think 15.
All right. In the last 30 minutes, 33,000 people have played Rust.
Damn.
Holy shit!
But in the last 30 days, it averaged 26. But it's still an insane number of people
That is
playing
an
Rust.
insane number.
Okay, well, we're talking about numbers, so for some reason I love stats and shit for no reason.
Stats are fun.
Yeah, there's a new. It's not a new site, but relatively new. SteamSpy.com.
Mm-hmm.
And on this site, you can basically see how each game is doing, player base buys, how many people on Steam own that game, stuff like that.
Within a certain margin of error.
Yes.
Of course.
So I think
It's the best data you got.
yeah, I think it's a really cool site. I've been kind of like feeding on it for a few weeks now. So there it is.
The survival genre, I just don't know. I thought we hit the peak survival games, kind of like peak survival games a while ago, but apparently not. Apparently people are still churning these out, and I'm starting to not understand the appeal, because what I imagine happens with these new games, if they don't hit it off right away, and I imagine they often don't because they release too early, they're just going to fall to the wayside anyway, and people are just going to return to Rust or DayZ. They're going to return to the Titans. It's kind of like trying to make a new MOBA at this point, even though the numbers are dramatically different, but relative to each other, it seems the same. Like, you can't compete outright with League and Dota 2. The only thing you can hope for is to maybe make a niche community, and that's really it. It's just there's too many.
There are too many. I agree.
And I'm not sure how different they can be without kind of taking it to the next level. And I don't even know what that is. I really don't know. So, anyway, another survival game. I'm kind of bored of survival games.
All right, let me pick the next subject real quick. This maybe
Please.
you guys, please. All right, this game. All right, have you guys heard of a site, GameFront.com?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well, it's shutting.
as old as the internet.
It's shutting down.
Wow.
Yep.
Took them long enough.
Wow. So I when I was kind of growing up, and when I wanted to download patches or updates or whatever, this was one of the sites I went to a lot. So when I heard it was shutting down, it will be shutting down on April 30th. It was kind of inevitable, because everything kind of has like a built-in patcher now, or Steam has a patcher. So there's less need for standalone sites that host files, I guess, for games. So
Right.
it's not surprising, but for me it kind of marks the end of an era of like these standalone sites that host patches, mods, updates, whatever. And
I think that era ended when File Planet went into archive mode.
it did, but you know what? It hurts. It hurts every time. All right, that's all.
I mean, it
Sure.
definitely is. Do you remember trying to download shit back in the day? You had to queue up in a server. It always tried to make you download 10 other things. It was just straight up spam and spyware.
No, yeah, this site has no relevance, but
The old days of the internet.
yeah, this basically, for whatever reason, this kind of touched me. This shutting down. I know it's got no relevance today, and it serves no purpose, so I guess it should go.
Nowadays, it's basically just a virus-infested hellhole, though.
So is
You need help.
SourceForge,
You gotta
isn't it?
send the center somewhere. Send them to GameFront. Who's gonna fund hell, huh? Let's resurrect GameFront.com. That's where the money's at.
And this company, apparently Defi Media or whatever, they shut down another site.
Defy Media.
Is it Defi? I thought it was Defi.
I mean that's how Defy is.
Pronounced?
Wait. I always thought it was Defi Media. Is it Defi?
Oh my god!
I mean, I hope it's not Defi Media. I hope it's Defy, because that's how Defy is spelled.
Wait.
It could be Defi. I don't know. Is it foreign? I don't know. I mean, defy is a verb. Pronounced defy. I'm looking at it right now. Let me just put this in here. That's how you pronounce it. Defy. Right? So, I don't know.
Look at Meg go.
Maybe it's Defi. Alright, tell us more about Defi Media, please.
Okay, they shut down another site recently. That's all I was gonna say.
Oh, what was the other site they shut down? They're consolidating, huh?
It was another gaming site, actually. It was another gaming site.
Oh, really?
Yo, I gotta Google it now because I don't remember.
It's funny, at the bottom, this is how I know Defi Media is a top player. At
Game
the
Trailers.
bottom of
Game
Defi Media,
Trailers.
it says see our work and it has Hot Pockets listed. Defi Media sponsors Hot Pockets. This is a true gaming website.
Is that real?
Hot Pockets, baby. That's where it's at. And right next to Coca-Cola and AccuView. And Gillette Venus. That's what gamers want.
All right. They shut down. They shut down GameTrailers. They shut down GameFront
Okay.
or whatever, or FileFront, whatever. And I think they laid off people at Escapist a few weeks ago. And I
I
think
didn't know they owned Escapist. Look at
yeah.
that.
Do you
Escapists, like, they shut down the entire office.
right? But the site's still
Wow.
up. They
Lay
moved.
people off.
They said they're gonna move everyone to move the operations to their other office in San Francisco or California.
Yeah, moving the operations means the non-human part of it.
Okay, so here's the question then. Is Escapist gonna get shut down?
No, they would have just
Isn't
shut it
Escapist
down outright.
huge?
I mean,
Escapist is enormous.
is it?
Escapist,
Isn't it?
like, it's pretty big, but Escapist, they would have just shut it down outright if they were going to shut it down. They're just downsizing to try and keep it alive.
All right, let's see the Escapist.
Maybe they're not that big.
I mean, it's
Their
not.
follower counts aren't too great.
Yeah, neither are ours, though, compared to
And
our numbers.
we're also a year old, so I'm not too worried about that. But the Escapist is pretty established. I mean, don't they have what's his name? They have all those YouTubers, Yahtzee.
No, I'm just saying. If,
I mean,
like,
they pay
you look at
Yahtzee,
our,
so it's not like.
Alexa rating compared to our, like, follower counts, it's still pretty low.
Well, I'll let everyone in on a secret on how follower accounts work. I'm looking at Escapist followers right now. They paid for about 1/6 of these, and you can tell by the eggs for the most part. So, MMOs.com does not pay for followers, and that is a rule we'll follow for the time being.
But
So,
if you look at
for the
Alexa,
time being.
if you look at Alexa for Escapist, I mean, their traffic is going down.
Really? Here, I have a prediction. People are uninstalling the Alexa toolbar because they forgot they installed it. So maybe that's why they forgot they put in the Alexa toolbar.
Okay.
And now they're
so-
finally upgrading.
You see what I see, though? They're one of the top 10,000 sites in the world still. That's pretty big.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you think GameFront? Let's find out. File
I don't know.
front.
GameFront was really big back in the day. I mean, that was the place to go when you needed to download something and you didn't understand what you were doing, and then you got a virus. GameFront.com.
Okay, fine. GameFront was number 26,000 in the world, and they're choosing to shut it down. So think about that. So I mean, it's not inconceivable.
Adblock. I'm blaming it on AdBlock.
Oh, you know what? I think that is a fair point, right? A lot of places, they can't survive without that ad traffic, which is why I love going to websites where they don't let me browse until I whitelist their site on AdBlock, and then I escape the site and never go back again.
And the other thing is you have to think about the fact that GameFront is a download and upload service. They spend a lot on bandwidth, I'm gonna say. So if they don't get the ad traffic, it's not going to balance out really well because they have all these upload download costs compared to, and storage costs. They have to keep expanding storage, and that's all compared to failing ad revenues, probably due to AdBlock. Because from what I've heard from the people that have actually stated how much AdBlock is affecting them, it's something like 80% of users use AdBlock. So that's 80% of users that they're not getting money from.
That's quite a high number.
But okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Again,
Okay, we got to look to the future, not the past. So like, if AdBlock is a reality, which it is, right? It's up to the sites, and this is my site included, right? So I'm not like, this is literally, I'm shooting myself in the foot here. Okay,
Go ahead.
if you go to MMOs.com or you're a fan of the site and you don't know yet, okay, go to your Google search bar and search AdBlock for insert name of your browser here, okay? Like whether it's Chrome or Firefox, because it's up to me and people like me to figure out how to make money, right? It's not up to you to give me money, okay? So go ahead and use AdBlock, please. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, but this is why people use Patreon. That's what I'm saying.
Well, exactly. There's alternative ways to make money. Like eventually, not today, not tomorrow. If we ever get our shit together and we make this site, this podcast professional, I want to set up a Patreon where you guys.
Whoa, easy.
Well, I'm
This
just
is
saying.
professional right here. This is like the Ellen show, all right?
Okay, this is exactly the kind of podcast people would pay to like
Well, that's what I'm saying. Eventually,
have interaction with.
exactly. Like, imagine like we set up a Patreon, and you guys can support us directly, and it goes to us directly. Then that's how it should work. It shouldn't work where you should suffer a bad experience with ads just so we can get paid. That doesn't make any sense to
Do you
me.
remember how awful ads were? Like, I don't know how old everyone is in chat went up, but the internet used to be a hellhole before
Yep.
ad block.
Yep.
It was the worst experience in the world.
You mean I didn't
constantly
actually?
closing ads.
You mean I didn't actually win $1,000? What is this shit?
Oh no, you did, but you had to click through a couple more ads to get your money, and you had to give over your credit card, and maybe. It's more like you won the chance to charge $1,000 on something that you didn't buy.
Every few years, I had to either buy a new computer until I learned to reformat or whatever, right? Because of ads, like pop-ups, spyware,
It'd kill your computer.
Yeah, it would literally kill my computer. So there's so much good being done with ad block that it doesn't make sense to look backwards and try to like force people to suffer ads rather than just figure out real ways to make money directly from your fans.
You can grow your penis,
I feel
bro.
like this is a little unfair in some ways because you still have to like suffer ads on TV and stuff. And
I
I
mean,
don't watch TV.
It's called Netflix.
You can
Hello?
just
Hello?
block. It's called block TV.
It's called
We
Netflix.
just
Hello?
don't use it.
Yeah, I haven't watched TV in a while. By the way, this is
Hulu,
in unrelated news. Amazon is launching their own streaming service for $9 a month. So you won't
Didn't
need
they
to
already
pay for
have
Amazon.
that?
They already
You have to-
had one.
No.
That
You
was
have to buy Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
which is
before it was part of
$100 a
Prime.
year.
Yep.
So now they'll have their own streaming service, which is pretty neat. So you have more options.
does HBO have their own streaming service that I don't have to pay for
Yes.
HBO
They do.
for?
Yes,
yet?
they do. It's called HBO Go.
HBONow.com.
Oh, now.
No,
Okay.
HBO Go is when you have HBO on your TV.
I see.
Yeah,
No, wait,
kind of confusing.
On the Amazon thing.
Yeah, but is it finally not for like just iOS?
Yeah. I think everyone
Okay.
can get it.
Hey guys, ready? Adblock can't go
Awesome.
through this. This week's podcast is brought to you by Amazon Prime. Sign up now for 2 day shipping. It's actually not brought to you by Amazon Prime, but I do use Amazon Prime. It's pretty good.
Yeah, me too. I love 2 day shipping.
Nobody's gonna believe that. I'll tell you. It's just.
Are
brought
they
to you by
adding the
Amazon
service
Prime
on
now.
top of it? Like you have to pay for Amazon Prime and then pay an additional in order to get.
No.
streaming?
If you bought Amazon Prime, you got the streaming service.
Oh,
included with it.
they've been having that then. It's been out for like a long time.
That's what I'm saying. But now you can buy just the streaming service without.
But then Amazon Prime is not that expensive. Like how much is it gonna be? Like $2
Yeah, I get it.
or something. Like
I feel like Prime is
Well,
still a
then
better
you're paying-
deal, right? Because like it's $100
Yeah, it is.
for the whole year. Yeah.
Compared to
Prime is one of
this.
those things that like once you get it, you just can't go back.
All right.
Done.
Well, I wanna show one thing. Amazon Prime. Actually, Amazon makes their own TV shows now, and a recent one they made is The Man in the High Castle, and I think it's a great show. And
Based
Oh,
on a
I'm
book.
watching that.
It's a
I'm
really
watching
cool-
that right now.
Yeah, it's a really cool
Based
show.
on a book by my favorite Dick, who has the best Dick name, Philip K. Dick. So it's a good book. I recommend the book too.
Okay, Sean, real talk. What percent of our viewers do you think read books? Come on.
2.
2%?
Is that fair?
That's fair,
Is
that's fair.
2% fair?
That's fair.
No, it's the top 1%.
Philip K.
No,
Dick.
okay,
Philip K.
so-
Dick is more general. Philip K. Dick is like Williamsburg hipster kind of reading.
Okay, Sean, you're doing it
Okay.
all wrong. Give me a
What?
second. I gotta find something.
Is it a dick?
Nope.
What could it
Arguably,
possibly
it's
be?
worse. Here we go.
It's at lemonparty.org.
You're doing
All right,
it all
well,
wrong.
this sounds
If
like-
you-
this sounds
if you
like
wanna
at the
show
top.
that, and
I'll show.
no, if you want to show that,
I'll show it. It's
Hey
Steam.
guys, I got some
let's show
news,
this.
guys. Hey guys, I got
Interesting.
some news.
Oh, one second. Let's take a look. This is actually pretty neat. This is a VR novel, right? So you wear your VR
Wait, what?
headset and then experience the novel's environments as you're reading the book in VR.
This sounds like
it's
something.
the dumbest thing I've ever.
This is
heard.
something Sean can
Let me
circle
put it
jerk
that way.
over.
This is something I would circle jerk over, but it kind of takes away from reading, doesn't it?
Do you have a link to it? Or...
It's in the podcast thing on Discord.
Oh, I was in the wrong text channel.
This is literally the dumbest thing I have ever heard of. And it is the most gimmicky use of VR that I've ever seen. It also requires HTC Vive motion controllers. I mean, I could just hit the arrow keys on my fucking keyboard and get the same experience.
I think there's going to be so many gimmicks for VR until they figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. Like, what happens? Like, when you look around, does the book follow you, but you can look around the environment? Like, what?
I mean, I understand playing a game and you're kind of living the life of the character in the book, but not reading the book and seeing the world at the same time. That feels weird. I wonder if the book's any good, though. I'm not going to play this, but...
Alright, well, this is a good time to leave off for now. We will keep talking about VR. Well, alright, here's how I know when it's time.
Guys, I have some news.
Alright,
I have
fine.
some
shoot
news.
us,
I
news.
have news, okay? I have news, okay?
Uh-oh.
Ghost in the Shell Online has new skins.
New skins?
Yeah.
Is it the Scarlett Johansson skin?
Well, you see, that was my like my alley oop. I was like throwing up the ball to you guys, you know, just.
All right, yeah, that's a good point. We gotta talk about this first.
We'll talk about that in the after show if you guys want.
That's fair.
It's not related to MMOs.
That's fair. That's fair.
Or
okay.
games.
All right, that's fair. Okay, so this is it for the podcast. We will be doing the after show every week, as always. You can check it out live on Twitch, or maybe we'll upload this one if it's interesting. So see you guys.
Depends on where we go, because sometimes we can't.
Peace.
Yeah, if we talk about hentai or whatever, maybe we can't put it on YouTube. But that's it for this week. Omar will be back next week, guys. So if you missed him, you can tell him how much you missed him last week.
No, we're replacing him with ourselves that are already here. So we're just kicking him out. Okay.
Yeah, he actually retired. All right, he's in a mountain playing MMOs by himself.
It's a revolution.
He took the tank money and ran.
Yeah, guys, we're so sad we can't do MMOs.com anymore without your help because Omer took all our money.
All right, that's it. Take care, guys.
Peace.
Yeah.
Bye.